Have you ever wondered why saying no to someone else feels like a betrayal, but saying no to yourself just feels like a normal Tuesday?
Oh, wow. Yeah. That is, it's such a heavy, familiar feeling, isn't it?
It really is. It's just this constant weight.
Exactly. And, if you are listening to this right now, wherever you are, whatever kind of day you have had, I just want you to take a slow, deep breath.
Yeah, just let your shoulders drop.
Right. Let the tension in your jaw go. We are stepping away from the noise of the world for a little while today. I want you to imagine that we are sitting together at a really cozy kitchen table late at night.
I love that. Like the house is perfectly still.
Yes, exactly. You have a warm cup of tea resting in your hands, and we are just talking intimately as dear friends who truly see you.
Welcome to our deep dive. We are so glad you are here with us. And tonight we're doing something a little different.
We are. It's a very special conversation.
Yeah. We have gathered a collection of insights like deep life observations, stories from the quiet corners of coaching spaces, and these really profound behavioral patterns.
Things we see over and over again.
Right. And our mission tonight is to pull back the curtain on why putting yourself first is not a crime. I mean, it is not selfish.
Not at all. It is a vital, non-negotiable act of survival and self-love.
Exactly. We're going to carefully unpack that terrifying warning you have probably heard, 100 times.
Oh, the scare tactic.
Yes, the scare tactic that says, if you start putting yourself first, if you stop being so accommodating, you will end up completely alone.
It's such a common fear, and we are going to look right at the heart of that fear today, and we are going to reveal the incredibly beautiful, liberating truth that is hiding just behind it.
Let's really get into this because I know the person listening right now is exhausted, like bone tired.
Deeply tired.
I know about the burnout you are hiding behind that highly capable, perfectly managed smile. We see it. We see the quiet daily ache of always being the reliable one.
The one everyone goes to.
Yeah, the person who holds the entire world together for everyone else while quietly, invisibly unraveling inside.
It is a unique kind of exhaustion, isn't it? Because, it's not just physical fatigue.
No, it's not like you just need a nap.
Right. You can sleep for 10 hours and still wake up feeling entirely drained. And that is because the exhaustion we were talking about is a depletion of the soul.
The depletion of the soul. That hits hard.
It does. It comes from living a life where your primary function is to serve as the emotional scaffolding for other people.
So why do we do it? If it makes us so incredibly tired, if we feel this ache in our bones, why do we wake up every morning and put on the mask of the relentless people pleaser?
Well, we tell ourselves it's a virtue, right?
Right, we trick ourselves into thinking, I'm just a really generous person, I'm a good friend, I'm the dutiful daughter or the supportive partner. It feels, on the surface, like kindness.
It masquerades as kindness beautifully. It is the perfect disguise. But when we strip away the romanticized idea of being a giver and look at this through the lens of raw lived experience, we see something much darker.
Darker how? Like what's actually going on underneath?
Well, chronic people-pleasing is not generosity. It is a deeply ingrained survival strategy.
Wait, a survival strategy? So you're saying we aren't actually doing this out of the goodness of our hearts?
For the chronic people-pleaser, no. It is the exhausting, relentless act of constantly suppressing your own needs, your own voice, and your own comfort, simply to avoid conflict.
Oh, wow. So it's about fear, really.
Exactly. You are scanning the room, trying to secure a tiny, fleeting bit of approval, or just trying to keep the peace in a situation that you probably don't even want to be in.
That makes so much sense.
Generosity is given freely from a place of abundance. But people-pleasing, that is a ransom you pay to feel safe.
A ransom you pay to feel safe. Okay, I want to challenge this a little bit because I can hear a listener thinking this right now.
Of course. Go ahead.
Isn't a healthy society or a healthy relationship built on compromise? Where is the line between being a genuinely reliable friend who shows up when it's inconvenient, because that's what love is, and just being a doormat?
That's a really fair question.
Because, telling people to just choose themselves all the time, it sounds dangerously close to telling them to abandon their communities.
That is a brilliant distinction to make, and it is exactly where so many of us get trapped. Let's look at how compromise actually works in a healthy dynamic.
Okay, let's break that down.
In a healthy relationship, there is a mutual exchange of vulnerability and support. Today, I am struggling, so you lean in and help me.
Right, and tomorrow you are overwhelmed and I step up for you.
Exactly. There is an ebb and flow. You are mutually investing in a shared bond.
So there's a return on the investment of your energy.
Yes. But the dynamic of a chronic people pleaser is entirely different. You are not compromising, you are volunteering to be erased.
Oof. Volunteering to be erased.
You become the ultimate free resource. You are handing out your time, your emotional bandwidth, your physical energy, and sometimes your finances to people who give absolutely nothing back.
They just take.
Right. They do not invest in you. They just offer their demanding, ghostly presence. They expect you to regulate their emotions, fix their problems, listen to their endless complaints.
But the moment you need support, they are suddenly busy.
Exactly. Or they turn the conversation right back to themselves.
That phrase, volunteering to be erased, is chilling. And it is so accurate, because when you become that free resource, you start to lose the edges of who you actually are.
You do. In our coaching spaces, we often refer to this internal toll as self-silencing.
Self-silencing.
I want you to really visualize what happens when you constantly bite your tongue, when you swallow your needs down day after day, year after year.
Like every time you say, oh, whatever you want to do is fine, when you actually have a strong preference.
Yes. Every time you smile through a disrespectful comment just to avoid ruining the evening, you might think you were just being polite, but what you are actually doing is actively eroding your own identity.
You are chipping away at your own self-worth.
Exactly. You are teaching yourself that you come last.
It's like you are sending a daily message to your own brain that says, I don't matter. My voice doesn't count. And over time, you start to believe it.
You believe it so deeply that eventually you look in the mirror and you genuinely do not know who is looking back at you.
Yeah, you have no idea what your favorite food is or what kind of music you actually like, because your entire personality has become a mirror reflecting what other people want you to be.
That's spot on.
I always think of it like the drained smartphone battery analogy. Let's unpack this for a second.
Oh, I love this analogy.
You, the person listening right now, are walking around like a smartphone with 2% battery life. The screen is dimming, you are getting those critical warnings, everything is lagging.
And you just feel so heavy.
Right. But the reason you are at 2% isn't because your battery is broken. It's because you have 50 background apps running simultaneously, and none of them belong to you.
That is a phenomenal way to visualize the invisible drain.
Right. Because app number 1 is managing your mother's unspoken disappointment. App number 2 is smoothing over the tension between your coworkers.
Always managing the peace.
Yes. App number 3 is anticipating your partner's bad mood before they even walk through the door. App number 4 is planning a birthday party for a friend who didn't even text you on yours.
And these apps are draining your life force every single second of the day.
And you never get plugged into the wall to recharge.
Never, because you are too busy acting as a portable power bank for everyone around you.
Exactly. They come to you, they plug into your energy, they charge themselves up to 100%, and they walk away. You are left flashing at 1%.
And what happens emotionally when you live your life at 1%? This is where the narrative of the sweet, accommodating people pleaser starts to fracture.
Because it's not just fatigue anymore.
No, it's not. Because you do not just feel tired, you start to feel a deep, dark, heavy resentment.
Oh, the resentment is so real.
You can only give away pieces of yourself for so long before you start feeling passive-aggressive, bitter, and entirely disconnected from the joy of living.
Yes. We rarely talk about the resentment of the people pleaser. You start snapping at small things.
You lose your patience.
You feel a quiet rage when someone asks you for a simple favor, even if it's a reasonable request, because your tank is completely empty.
You feel used. But here is the hardest, most painful truth we have to gently acknowledge tonight.
What's that?
You feel used because you are actively allowing yourself to be used. You are holding the door open for the people who are carrying your furniture out of your house.
Oh man, holding the door open while they rob you, that is such a powerful image. Which begs the obvious question.
Go ahead.
If we are running on 2%, if we feel this awful resentment building up, if we know we are being used, why don't we just stop?
It seems so simple on paper.
Right. If the pain of giving is so high, why is our deepest instinct to keep scraping the bottom of the barrel? Why is setting a boundary so terrifying?
To understand that, we have to look at how we measure our right to exist.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Somewhere along the line, often very early in our lives, we tied our fundamental human value to our usefulness.
Wow.
We adopted a subconscious belief that if we are not actively doing things for others, we have no inherent worth.
Like we have to earn our space on the planet.
Exactly. If we are not fixing, soothing, producing, or accommodating, we believe we are taking up space we haven't earned.
We treat love like it's a transaction, like rent we have to pay just to be allowed to stay in someone's life.
That is exactly it. We believe we pay for our right to exist in the lives of others by being perfectly convenient.
And if we stop paying,
If I am no longer convenient, if I become difficult by having needs of my own, I will be evicted from their lives. And that brings us to the ultimate fear.
the big one.
The fear that keeps the entire cycle of people-pleasing locked in place. The fear of the quiet room.
The quiet room. Just hearing that phrase gives me a visceral reaction. It feels cold, it feels heavy.
It is the specific weaponized scare tactic we mentioned at the beginning of our deep dive. That voice saying, if you start prioritizing your own interests, you will end up completely alone.
Yeah, that terrifying threat.
We have to pause here and offer ourselves so much grace, because we need to acknowledge how deeply human and how entirely rational this fear is.
It makes sense that we feel it.
We are social creatures. We are wired to belong. The idea of being cast out of the tribe has historically meant danger.
But the way this fear manifests in our modern lives is so tragic. This fear of the quiet room, of facing an empty house on a Friday night, it drives us to stay in profoundly toxic, unbalanced relationships.
We tolerate so much just to avoid the silence.
We accept absolute breadcrumbs of affection. We let people mistreat us. We put up with being demeaned, ignored, or used just to avoid an empty room.
We mistake a frantic, crowded calendar for true connection. We think that if our phone is buzzing, even if it is someone demanding something from us, at least we aren't forgotten.
At least we exist in someone's mind. Let me play devil's advocate here, because the fear of isolation is so strong. Isn't any connection better than no connection?
I know a lot of people feel that way.
Right, like if I am sitting in the quiet room, completely alone, nobody is calling me, I feel abandoned. If I invite a toxic friend over, yes, they might drain me, but at least I'm interacting. At least there's life in the house. Why is the quiet room so much worse in our minds than the toxic noise?
That is the core of the issue. Why do we let the disrespect in just to break the silence?
Yeah, why do we do that?
It is because for a chronic people pleaser, the quiet room forces you to finally be alone with yourself.
Oh.
And if you have spent your entire life believing that you only have value when you are serving others, then being alone with yourself feels like being locked in a room with someone entirely worthless.
Wow. That is heavy.
It is heavy, but it is the truth we have to face. When the noise stops and there is no one around to fix or soothe or please, you are forced to sit with your own thoughts.
And those thoughts aren't usually very kind.
No, often those thoughts are incredibly self-critical. The silence isn't just quiet, it is deafening with anxiety. We use the chaos of other people's dramas to drown out the painful reality that we don't actually like ourselves very much.
That makes so much sense. It makes me think of a story from a coaching space I encountered a while ago.
Oh, please share.
It was about a woman, we'll keep her anonymous, of course, but she was the epitome of the successful, glowing, perfectly put together friend.
The one who seems to have it all.
Exactly. And she would overcommit to the most draining social events every single weekend. She would go to these lavish dinners with people who subtly belittled her.
Oh, that's so painful.
They talked over her, they made passive-aggressive comments about her career, they drank her wine, and they never, not once, asked how she was genuinely doing.
A classic scenario of being surrounded but entirely unseen.
Yes. And when she was asked why she kept going, why she kept hosting these people who made her feel so small, she broke down.
What did she say?
She said that the thought of sitting on her own incredibly comfortable, beautiful couch, in her own safe home, with only her own mind for company, felt like an unbearable physical weight.
Just crushing.
She was inviting people into her home to disrespect her simply because their noise distracted her from the quiet pain of her own self-abandonment.
And what we have to gently, lovingly help people realize in those moments is this. When you avoid your own company at all costs, you are sending a profound, continuous message to your own heart.
What is the message?
Every time you run from the quiet room, you are telling yourself, I am not worth spending time with. I am not good enough to just be with. You are abandoning yourself to avoid being abandoned by people who don't even really see you.
You are choosing to be a ghost in someone else's life,
Yeah.
rather than the living, breathing human in your own.
That's beautifully said.
So how do we break this? How does the person listening right now who is terrified of that quiet room start to become okay with it? It feels like we have to entirely dismantle how we view ourselves.
We really do.
We have to separate the the beautiful, necessary concept of putting ourselves first from that ugly, weaponized accusation of selfishness.
We absolutely do. Because society, and especially the people who benefit from your lack of boundaries, love to conflate the two.
Oh, they love to use that word against us.
They love to tell you that choosing yourself is selfish. But they are not the same thing. In fact, if we look deeply at human behavior, we see that they are exact opposites.
Let's break that down, because the word selfish carries so much guilt. The moment someone calls us selfish, we instantly retreat. We apologize. We drop our boundaries. What is the actual anatomy of selfishness?
Selfishness is rooted in deep fear. It is rooted in a fragile ego and a profound, unhealable sense of lack.
A sense of lack.
A truly selfish person, the kind of person who is actually toxic, is like a bottomless pit. They demand constant taking from others because they feel entirely empty inside.
It's about consumption.
Exactly. They manipulate, they demand, they hoard resources and affection because they are terrified there isn't enough. They are not acting out of a grounded love for themselves. They are acting out of a desperate, panicked need to consume. They use people as objects to fill their own void.
Okay, so if selfishness is a bottomless, fearful pit of taking what is true self-love, how does setting a boundary differ from being selfish?
Self-love is an active, deliberate striving for your own growth, your own dignity, and your own peace.
Okay, I love that.
It is the realization that your energy is precious and that you have a responsibility to protect it. It is actually the ultimate unselfish act.
Wait, setting a boundary is unselfish. Explain the mechanics of that, because to the untrained ear, saying, no, I won't help you move this weekend because I need to rest, sounds entirely self-focused.
It is self-focused, but it is healthy self-focus. Think about the fundamental truth of human energy. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
You really can't.
When you engage in healthy self-focus, you are building a protective skin. You are building a strong, beautiful fence around your garden.
A fence around the garden, yeah.
That fence keeps your soil rich, your energy safe, and your roots deep. By protecting your energy, you ensure that when you do choose to open the gate and share with the world, you can do so warmly, generously, realistically, and without a drop of hidden resentment.
I want to use a metaphor here because this reminds me of building a house.
Oh yes, go ahead.
Imagine you are building a sanctuary for yourself. You are gathering bricks to build strong, safe walls. But every time someone walks by and says, hey, I need a brick for my house, you just hand it over.
Just giving away the pieces of your own home.
Right. You give away your time, your peace, your money. Eventually, you have given away all your bricks. Your house is just a muddy plot of land in the rain.
And you are standing in the mud, shivering.
Right. And then you look over at your friend's house, the one you helped build, and they are warm and dry inside. Now, here is the kicker. You cannot invite people out of the cold rain if you don't have a house of your own.
That is so true.
You cannot offer true shelter, true support, or true love if you've given away your own foundation. You have to build your own sanctuary first. Without that strong boundary, without keeping your own bricks, you just melt into the demands of everyone else.
Yeah.
You become useless not just to yourself, but eventually to everyone you claim to love.
That is a brilliant way to frame it, because when you truly deeply respect yourself, when your house is built and the roof is secure, you naturally become a better, more present friend and partner.
You have a capacity for it.
Your giving changes its entire texture. It comes from a place of profound abundance, not a place of desperation. You are no longer giving to buy their approval. You are giving because your house is warm and you genuinely have a seat by the fire to share.
The energy shift is huge. It goes from, I am helping you so you won't leave me, to, I am helping you because I love you, and if I couldn't help you today, I know you would still love me.
Precisely. The transaction is removed. Love becomes unconditional because it is no longer tied to your utility.
Okay, so let's walk this into reality. Let's say our listener is sitting at our kitchen table tonight, sipping their tea, and they feel that spark.
They are ready.
They realize, I need my bricks back. I am tired of living in the mud. I am going to build my fence. Armed with this new understanding of self-love, they finally do it. They wake up tomorrow and they say no. They set a boundary. They prioritize their own peace. What happens next?
All hell breaks loose.
Oh boy. And we have to be incredibly honest with you about this part. We promised you the truth tonight. When you stop being a convenient free resource, The world does not applaud you.
It absolutely does not. This is where so many people falter because they expect a positive reaction to their healthy choice.
They think people will be happy for them.
They think, I am finally honoring myself, my friends will be so proud of me. But when you stop being convenient, the people who were parasitically feeding off your energy are not going to let go quietly.
Definitely not.
They will not suddenly nod, smile, and say, oh, I respect your new boundaries, good for you, let me step back.
No, they escalate. They hit you with a tidal wave of guilt. They send the passive-aggressive text messages. They give you the silent treatment. They act out.
They really do.
They might even gather other people to talk about how much you have changed.
Yeah.
And they will hit you with the absolute classic, the ultimate weapon. You're being so selfish lately. You used to be so nice.
That phrase, you used to be so nice, what that actually translates to is you used to be so easy to manipulate.
Wow.
You used to put my comfort above your own survival, and I am angry that you stopped.
So why do they act like this? Is it because they are inherently evil? Or is there a mechanism at play here?
It is not necessarily that they are evil. It is a completely natural, deeply predictable pattern of human behavior.
A predictable pattern.
Yes. When we observe behavioral patterns, we see something very specific happen when you try to change a deeply entrenched dynamic. We can call it an escalation.
Okay, an escalation.
Think about how humans learn. When a behavior has always worked in the past, like crossing your boundaries, demanding your time, or throwing a guilt trip to get what they want, and suddenly, one day, it stops working. Human nature is not to immediately accept the new reality.
No, human nature is to force the old reality back into existence. I always explain this pattern using the vending machine analogy, and I think it perfectly captures this escalation you're talking about.
Oh, tell me about the vending machine.
Think about a vending machine in your office hallway. Every single day for 5 years, you walk up to it, you put in a coin, you push the big red button, and you get a soda. It is perfectly reliable. It is entirely convenient.
You don't even have to think about it.
Exactly. You never even think about the machine's internal mechanics. You just know that pushing the button gets you what you want.
It is an established, rewarded behavior.
But one Tuesday, you walk up, you put in your coin, you push the red button, and nothing happens. The machine just hums. The soda doesn't drop. Now, do you just peacefully smile, nod, respect the machine's boundaries, and walk away?
Of course not. That's not how human frustration works.
You push the button 5 more times. You push it faster. You push it harder. You might start slapping the side of the machine.
You might shake it.
You might grab the top and shake the whole thing. You might even kick the glass. You escalate your behavior into aggression because your brain is screaming, this always works. I just need to force it. If I shake it hard enough, the soda will fall.
And this is exactly what people do to you when you stop dispensing your energy on demand.
You are the vending machine. For years, they pushed the button of guilt or manipulation or anger, and you dropped the soda. You gave them your time, your money, your apologies. But today, you set a boundary. The soda didn't drop, and so they are going to shake the machine.
That visual is so crucial because it reframes the aggression.
It changes how you see their anger.
That shaking of the machine, that intense period of escalation, the guilt tripping, the sudden pushback, the accusations of selfishness, this is the most critical, the most dangerous, and the most painful phase of your entire journey.
It's the hardest part to get through.
Your toxic connections, and even just the people who have grown lazily comfortable using you, will fight the absolute hardest right before they finally give up and fall away.
So if I am the listener, and I am in that exact moment, I said no to a draining family member. My phone is blowing up with a guilt trip text. Someone is giving me the cold shoulder because I said I couldn't babysit, or lend them money, or listen to them vent about the same problem for the 50th time. The pressure feels unbearable. My instinct is to apologize just to stop the shaking. What do I do? How do I survive the extinction of this dynamic?
You have to fundamentally, radically shift how you view their anger. When you feel the machine shaking, your old conditioning tells you, oh no, they are mad, I did something wrong, I need to fix it.
Right, that's the immediate panic response.
You must replace that thought. You must recognize this escalation, this anger, not as a sign that you are doing something wrong, but as the ultimate, undeniable proof that your boundary is actually working.
Proof that the boundary is working. I love that so much.
They are shaking the machine because the machine is finally officially closed for free business. Their anger is not your failure. It is your success. It means you stood firm.
You have to hold your ground. When they kick the glass, you do not drop the soda.
Yeah.
You just stand there, solid, quiet, and grounded. You let them exhaust themselves.
Yes, you let them wear themselves out.
But, and we promised we wouldn't lie to you tonight, Holding that ground is agonizing. Which brings us back to that original terrifying warning. The reality of the shedding phase.
Yes, the shedding. This is where we have to validate the fear that you walked in here with tonight. That warning you always hear. If you put yourself first, you will lose people. It is not just a myth.
It's a real thing that happens.
It has a massive, undeniable grain of truth to it. You will lose people. When you stand firm, when the machine stops dropping the free soda, the people who are only there for the convenience will walk away.
They really will.
The convenient friends, the parasitic relationships, they will fall away like old husks.
And we have to acknowledge the grease in this.
Huh.
Because sometimes, heartbreakingly, these aren't just casual acquaintances. These aren't just coworkers. Sometimes these are people you have known your entire life.
Sometimes it's family.
These are family members. These are childhood friends you thought would stand beside you at your wedding or hold your hand as you aged.
It is a profoundly painful transition phase. It is a period of deep mourning. You are mourning the illusion of the relationship you thought you had.
Mourning the illusion. That's beautifully put.
And during the shedding phase, it will feel incredibly lonely. There will be nights where you are sitting in that quiet room we talked about, and it will feel echoing, vast, and terrifying.
Your body will react to it.
Your nervous system, which has been wired for years to survive on the chaotic adrenaline of pleasing others, will panic in the stillness. It will scream at you that you made a terrible mistake.
Your brain will play tricks on you. It'll say, look what you did. You ruined everything. You were too harsh. If you had just compromised, you wouldn't be sitting here alone.
It will try to pull you back into the old pattern.
You will feel a desperate, burning urge to reach out, to send the apology text, to take all the blame, and to go back to being small, just to relieve the agonizing tension of the silence.
And that is the moment you must be the most gentle with yourself. You have to wrap your arms around yourself in that quiet room and say, I am safe. I am allowed to be here. I am just experiencing the withdrawal from a toxic dynamic.
But, and this is the most important but of this entire conversation, the reason we invited you to sit at this table tonight. That loneliness, that painful, echoing, quiet room, it is only half the truth.
It is not the whole story.
It is not the final destination. It is just the hallway. It is the dark, uncomfortable hallway you have to walk through to get to the beautiful aftermath.
The aftermath. Let's paint the picture of what is waiting for you on the other side of that hallway. Let's do it. Imagine you have weathered the storm. You held your boundary, the vending machine was shaken, the glass was kicked, but you didn't break. And finally, the people who only wanted you for your utility realized the free ride was over, and they walked away in frustration. What happens next is nothing short of miraculous.
Talk to me about what happens to the body, to the mind, when those connections are finally severed.
Once the parasitic, draining connections are gone, your nervous system finally deeply relaxes.
You can just breathe.
You don't even realize how tightly your muscles were clenched until they finally let go. You stop living in a state of hypervigilant anxiety, constantly waiting for the next demand, the next crisis you have to manage, the next mood you have to navigate.
The hypervigilance just melts away.
The air in your lungs feels lighter. You have cleared the space.
You've swept the floor of your house. The mud is gone. The bricks are back in the foundation. The walls are strong. And yes, initially the house is quiet. But it shifts from being a lonely quiet to being a peaceful quiet. It becomes a sanctuary.
And here's the profound secret they don't tell you when they try to scare you into staying small. Nature abhors a vacuum.
Oh, that's so true.
When you clear out the toxic clutter, you create an open, beautifully boundaried space. And into this space, a completely different caliber of human being will enter.
This is the turning point. Because you are no longer broadcasting the signal of a victim, you stop attracting vampires because you aren't walking around offering your neck anymore. You start attracting equals.
Precisely. You begin to attract people who respect you, not in spite of your boundaries, but precisely because you respect yourself.
They see the boundaries and they respect them.
People recognize the energy of someone who is grounded in their own worth.
What does that look like in practice? Let's give our listener a vision in these new relationships.
It looks like finding partners who look at you and see a complete, complex, autonomous person, not just a convenient accessory to make their life easier, or a surrogate mother to manage their responsibilities.
It's a true partnership.
It looks like finding true friends who actually ask you, "How was your day?" and then sit back, make eye contact, and deeply listen to the answer.
Friends who don't just call you when their life is falling apart, but who call you to share a funny joke or to celebrate your wins. Friends who value your unique voice, your time, and your physical space.
Yes.
If you say, I can't make it tonight, I'm too tired, they don't guilt trip you. They say, I completely understand, get some rest, let's catch up next week.
That lack of friction is what healthy love feels like. With these people, you never have to make yourself small. You never have to bite your tongue or laugh at a joke that isn't funny or lay yourself down like a doormat just to earn your keep in their lives.
You don't have to perform anymore.
You are allowed to take up space. You get to build relationships that are equal, profound, and vibrantly healthy. You get to be loved simply for who you are, for the unique essence of your being, not for what you can produce, fix, or provide for them.
It's the difference between two completely different existences. Let's hold them up side by side for a minute.
Okay, let's look at them.
Think about life A. In life A, you are serving as the unpaid emotional staff for everyone else's life. You are the supporting actor, the background character, making sure the stars of the show shine brightly.
Always working behind the scenes.
You are constantly surrounded by people. Your phone is always ringing. You are always busy, but you are entirely, completely unseen. It is the loneliest crowded room in the world.
And then there is life B. You step out of the shadows and into the role of the main character of your own life.
That sounds so much better.
You are surrounded by a carefully curated, deeply respectful few. The room might be quieter, there might be fewer people at your dinner table, but every single person sitting there loves you fiercely. The space is filled with genuine warmth, profound safety, and true nourishing connection.
So as we reach the bottom of our teacups tonight and the house settles into the quiet, we want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. A question to ask yourself as you drift off to sleep. It all comes down to a choice.
Are you going to continue measuring your worth by how convenient you are to others? Are you going to keep living life A, terrified of the quiet, paying for your existence with your exhaustion?
Or are you willing to pay the temporary, painful price of loneliness?
Are you willing to walk through that dark hallway of shedding, to buy your own freedom, your own dignity, and the genuine respect of people who actually deserve to sit at your table?
Who you surround yourself with, how you let them treat you, and what kind of life you build, that is exclusively your choice. No one can set the boundary for you. You have to place the brick yourself. Choose yourself. It is not selfish. It is the most beautiful, vital thing you will ever do.
It is the beginning of your real life. And please remember, you do not have to make this massive shift all at once. You don't have to wake up tomorrow and cut off the whole world. Just start by recognizing your own value.
Start small.
Start by noticing when the machine is empty. Start by breathing through the quiet.
We know it's hard, but you are not doing it alone anymore. We are building a beautiful, quiet space right here for people who are learning, step by step, to choose themselves.
A safe space to learn.
If sitting at this kitchen table with us felt like a safe harbor for you tonight, if you finally felt seen and understood without having to do a single thing to earn it, then just pull up a chair and stay with us. Whenever you need a reminder of your worth, we will be right here for the next conversation. You are always, always welcome in this space. Take deep, gentle care of yourself tonight. You deserve it.